people from complex trauma tend to be attracted to emotionally unavailable people. And that's because in complex trauma, the significant people of your life weren't emotionally available. They were too busy. They were angry. They were depressed. They were involved in addiction. They were workaholics. They had their own trauma that made it difficult for them to be present to people in relationships. And so a child basically does not then have secure attachment. Their template for relationships is emotionally unavailable people. And so what does the child do in their mind? They go, it must be my fault that my parents aren't attaching to me, they're not available to me. So the challenge then for the child is, I bet you I can figure out how to get them to attach. So they continue to go, if I try this, maybe my parents will be available to me. If I try this, if I please them in this way, then they will want to be available to me. They place all the responsibility on themselves. But the key is that emotionally unavailable people become their norm. So when they get to adult life, two things happen. When they meet an emotionally unavailable person, it feels normal. And so they're actually attracted to it. But then part of them still is, I couldn't get mom and dad to attach to me. But now the challenge is all over again. Wonder if I can get this person to attach to me. Let's try all of the different things. This now gives me energy that I want to try to get them to attach. Then there's another piece to this, and that is if they meet somebody and there is a very intense feeling of connection. Oh, we're so close. There's a chemistry. It's not real, true intimacy. It's just intense oxytocin. Then they go, oh, I think this person must be emotionally available. When usually the opposite is true. They've developed the ability to create intense feelings of connection because they're emotionally unavailable. And so the person gets drawn into chasing after feelings of connection without really checking out if the person is emotionally available. But there's something else that tends to happen. When you grow up with a template where the people in your life are emotionally unavailable, what can happen without realizing it is that gradually you become emotionally unavailable. Because you realize that by being emotionally available, you are getting hurt. So what many people do, and this is very subtle, often subconscious, is they are good at seeming like they're emotionally available. They're good at caring for people. They're good at being giving, at being kind, at helping people. And it looks like they're so emotionally available, but that's their persona. Anybody that tries to get to know them beyond just that service that they do in caring for people, they'll bump into a wall. They'll find this person is not going to let me into their inner world. So they act so emotionally available, but that is just a surface thing. And so it becomes so important for people coming out of complex trauma to begin to realize you can never have a healthy relationship unless I am emotionally available, unless I find people who are truly emotionally available. And that means I have to deal with my insecure attachment issues. I have to learn to attach in healthy ways to healthy people. And that is a huge challenge, and we've done other videos on that. The next characteristic of people coming out of complex trauma is that they have a distorted view of love. Most people coming out of complex trauma do not understand unconditional love because they've never experienced it. So for them, love must be earned. You only get what looks like love if you earn it. Then, if you earn love and they do something for you, what looks like love, it's not really love. Now, basically, you're obligated to them. You're in their debt. You now owe them. They have something over you. So love is actually sets up relationships where now you have to pay back You keep score. You owe, they owe. It's always keeping calculations in your mind of who owes who. Another misconception about love for many people is that love is sex. And so if you love somebody, then sex is how you show that to them. And that is very, very common. Another one is love equals pity. So they can think of as a child, they didn't experience love, but if they saw a dog or a cat who was in pain, they would immediately feel pity for that, empathy. And that felt like love. And so now when they feel empathy and pity for somebody who's hurting, they feel in love with that person. And then a sad one is, for many people coming up with complex trauma, they begin to equate love with pain. That if you love somebody, then you gotta hurt them somehow. You gotta restrict their fun. You gotta punish them. That's how you show love to a person. And so love and pain get very much confused. Now there's another piece to this that I need to speak to, and that is people who grew up in complex trauma who've never experienced unconditional love. What happens is they almost become waterproof to genuine love. So if somebody was to try to heap unconditional love on them today, it'd be water off a duck's back. They wouldn't be able to receive it. Something in them would say, what's your agenda? This, now you're pitying me. Now I owe you. You're just doing this to be kind. You don't really mean it. And it would just, they wouldn't be able to receive it. They wouldn't be able to absorb it. It takes time to relearn love and to be able to accept love. And you can only do it with safe people. But this, again, to me, is trust is a key building block of life. Unconditional love is a key building block of life and intimate relationships. Complex trauma destroys both, but so important to gradually relearn them. The next one is those coming out of complex trauma don't know what healthy loyalty is. So let me start with this. Children are naturally loyal. When they love and respect somebody, they are loyal. You don't have to tell them to be loyal. They just are naturally loyal. But what happens in a home where parents are behaving in ways that don't engender respect, don't engender love? They're not safe people. They're hurting the children. They're not meeting their needs. So the child naturally, a healthy child, their natural instinct is to put boundaries up, to stay away from these people. But the parents within this unhealthy home, they want loyalty from their children. But the children are naturally not going to be loyal to them because they are not safe. So how do they engender loyalty in these children that are being hurt, that are being neglected? Well, they do a couple things. Number one, you create loyalty through fear. If you ever go against me, you're going to regret it. They demonize anybody that's a rat. And they have the harshest punishments for those who are rats, who talk. Then there's an indoctrination process. Blood is thicker than water. You're always there for your family. You don't have anybody else but your family. So they're constantly conditioning them to loyalty to those that are harmful. And what is really being put into the child's mind is this, that now you're loyal to people who are hurtful, who don't live by love, people that aren't going to be held accountable for their bad decisions and their bad behavior. You have to protect them. You have to keep them from ever experiencing consequences. You have to just take the hurt and not require equal treatment. So that is what is beginning to happen. So let me just say this. True loyalty is first of all to truth and love, the things that create safety and health. So my greatest commitment and loyalty is to loving and to truth. Those are the only things that make a healthy society, healthy relationships. True loyalty is not to a person initially. It's only to people who live out truth and love. I can be loyal to those people because they're safe, they're healthy. But if that person is no longer following truth and love, then I shouldn't be loyal to them. Because to be loyal to them basically is saying, I am being loyal to hurting other people. I am being loyal to violating love, to protecting people from negative consequences so that they can continue hurting other people. And that's only going to hurt society. So false loyalty is to hurtful people who do more and more damage. But wow, that indoctrination process of false loyalty is so deep that people are afraid to break it because of what might happen to them if they ever break the loyalty code.